Hi traders, this is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Morning Edge webinar. I want to welcome you all back. So we're going to get started here with our morning analysis. You know what? Can you guys hold 1 second, please? Thanks. My headset's a little twisted up here. Hold on. Okay, that should work a little bit better. Okay, so here's our bias chart. And I'm still trying to get over the fact that somebody actually copied my bias chart last week. I'm still trying to. It's like still blows my mind that somebody would like you can't change the color or the words. Like anyway, okay. It's just craziness. All right. Anyway, I mean, seriously. All right. Let's see here. Give me a second, guys. I'm just trying to get everything adjusted over here. Okay, so we're going to get started with the okay. ERW says next I'll be copying pipsar.com. No kidding. I mean, it's like, dude, get a life. All right. Okay, so let's go with the euro. All right, so here's the euro. And, you know, obviously last week we were hoping this would happen, but it didn't, you know, ahead of the non-farm payroll. But we are, you know, obviously moving a little bit lower. Now, let's take this trend line and just do it like that, because really that's what we're going to be facing today. You have to think that we can probably rally all the way back to these levels, you know, wherever I go to, you know, 108.10, maybe 108. 30 or 40, okay? So if you take the hourly, Gina, I agree, totally agree with that. Okay, so here, let's just go 618 retracement. All right, this is great. So you'll notice pre non-farm payroll, okay? Post non-farm payroll. 618 comes in at 108.22, which if you know you look at this previous support, it's basically at the same place, like 108.30 roughly. And if you look at you go out to the daily charts, you can see that that previous support here is 108.18, 108.10, I think 108.15, 108.11. So if we get a rally today, okay, if we get a rally back up to 108.22, I'm not in the mood to sing this morning because my allergies are killing me, but that is, to me, would be, you know, a great place to be on the short side of the euro dollar, in my opinion. Okay, so you know, that's what I would be thinking. So resistance 1.0820, key level of resistance. If you guys have the opportunity to short up there, I think that's the place to do it. If I could, you know, if I could be a seller or add up there, I will, because I'm already starting to short the euro. If you guys are just tuning in, I mean, I'm short already at 107.74, small position, and I'm looking to add. So I'm already starting to, you know, wiggle my way into dollar longs, because I personally am, you know, and I'll tell you guys this. I am a little upset that I wasn't long as many dollars as I should have been. You know, obviously I was hedged, being short the dollar yen and long the dollar Swiss on Friday, which it hedged perfectly. I mean, literally my account moved like $500 or maybe $700 or something. It barely budged. My account just didn't move a whole lot. But because I was hedged really well with yen pairs and Swiss pairs. I cut my dollar yen short. I cut like half of that position on Friday after, at the end of the day. I didn't want to carry it over the weekend. Um, but the problem is that I'm not long a lot of dollars, and so I've been wanting to buy dollars on a pullback, and so this is what we're getting today. Is we're getting that pullback, and it's allowing me to establish a dollar position now. If we get up to 108.20, I think that is a place where if you haven't sold the euro yet, that's probably the optimum place from a risk reward standpoint to short the euro is going to be right up here. 108.20, you don't have to risk a whole lot. You could probably risk about 40 pips or so. The question is, are we even going to get up there? Because believe me, this isn't like a rocket science type of analysis right now. Everybody's going to be trying to short the euro dollar on a move to 108 and change. Not just you, it's not just me, it's everybody. Everybody's going to be like, okay, I'm not long enough dollars and I need to get long more dollars. Because I think the analysis by Goldman Sachs and this morning that I just read is completely on point. This divergent central bank, that theme is going to continue on. So now the problem is there's not as many dollar longs now as there were, 6 months ago. So now people are going to scramble to buy dollars, and they're trying to figure out strategic places to do it. Okay. George says, is that one dude going to start shorting the euro up there? Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure, because he's watching this webinar right now. So of course, George, the used car salesman guy. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. And why did you say I have to work out more? Actually, I do need to work out more, but anyway. All right, 108.20 I think is going to be a great place to short. Obviously supports at 107. I mean, there's no if and or buts about it, but we'll probably find some support ahead of that. I would assume that this overnight spike is going to give us some support, but I'll write it down. We have 107.10, 0.0750. Okay, those are all levels of support on the way back down. Again, I'm hoping that we all have an opportunity to short the euro dollar up here. I just have a feeling that we're just not going to get that far. We're going to get probably right to about 108.10, because that's the previous support. And if you look on a weekly basis, this previous support there. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at the cable. I did start shorting some pound too. Yeah, I hate the pound, as you all know. But I did start shorting it. I already shorted it at 92 is my cost average, and I have no problem adding more. Now, why did I short the cable? Well, previous support are these lows at 121 and change. Current resistance. So, and the low here is 151.06. The high thus far is 151.14. Okay, so we're already knocking our head right into resistance. Now we can still go higher. Okay, we really can. I don't want to say that we can't, because the pound's pretty oversold right now. But at the same time, we've got a really bearish breakdown as well. I have to imagine there's people trying to play the pound as very weak. It's going to get a bounce. But what I would do is I would take this high before this last leg down. We're at a 38% retracement. 51.23 is it's at a 38 right now. 51.23 is right there. 51.45 is a 618. So let's say 51.45. That should cap it. If the euro continues to squeeze, that's where the cable should go. Okay, we are in a bearish trend. Support For the pound, get down here, 150 and a quarter. Okay. All right. Um, dollar Swiss. So I'm not too sure what happened with the dollar Swiss overnight, but it spiked down to parity to like 97, like out of nowhere. And I I was thinking about putting in an order to buy the dollar Swiss at more dollar Swiss at parity, and I just didn't do I didn't do it. Um, I'm hoping I'm not, going to kick myself in the rear end for not buying at parity. But anyway, so here's the dollar Swiss. Now let's look at it on a longer term basis. We're breaking out. Okay, we're breaking out in the dollar Swiss. Remember, my weekly and my daily candles are screwed up, so try not to pay too close of attention to the shape of the candle right now until our data gets fixed. The data, our MB trading data is off. For if you guys are just tuning in, the data is completely off. It didn't register the weekend opening prices. I'm not too sure why. It's happened before, so I've sent messages. They already know that the data needs to be corrected. Anyway, what we did hit is we hit 127% extension. That is going to be a big resistance for this week. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now for this week, because this is the range extension. The last time we made that low, we hit 127% extension and we stopped right there. So that is at 107.75. That is key resistance, 1.07, well, 77, 70. I'll just write 75. Key resistance, bullish trend. We can come a little lower in the dollar Swiss, in my opinion. Okay, this is the trend line that we're following. I would expect that if we break down, if we come down and break parity, okay, we might be able to retest that breakout point, which comes in at 99.75. So if we can get down here, 99.75, this is the place that you want to be on the long side of the Swissy, in my opinion. Okay, so if we get a move down here like this, you want to be able to be a buyer down there. Okay, that's what I think that's the place, the ultimate place, in my opinion, to be long the Swissy today. Let me just check something on the hourly charts. Okay, we got a 618 that comes in right at the right at parity. So yeah, any dip below there, that's going to be a really nice buying opportunity, in my opinion. Okay. All right, let's go over. Oh, thanks. You are correct. That is correct. Thank you. Thanks, Calvin. All right, let's take a look at the dollar yen. Okay, so the dollar yen, and like I said, this it's been extremely strong, and I'm not really too sure why. I haven't been able to put my finger on it, other than you know, Mark Chandler's observations about the 10-year. The 10-year looks pretty much a mirror image of the dollar yen right now. So if the 10-year remains weak, okay, the dollar yen is probably going to remain strong as yields are stronger. Okay. So as far as the dollar yen goes, we have surpassed the 786 retracement 161% extension. We closed above it, and we continue to remain strong. Now, we might be able to extend a 123, I would say 75 or so. And if you notice here, I'm gonna take this red line right here. Let me remove that. I'm gonna draw it again. Okay, right here. That's possible. So that low, 123.78. So 123.75. It looks doable today. 123. Because it's resilient, it's not backing off. So, okay, it really isn't, and it's holding up. I say it's in a range because this is a big, annoying range. Okay, and as you can see out here on the weekly charts, I mean, we're just bouncing around in these ranges. So we're pushing up to that resistance. That's also trend line resistance. It's going to be the underside of that, the underside of this trend line, a retest. Okay, so we might be able to make it up here, and I think it actually looks pretty possible. Okay, support, the lows, 123.17. It's going to be the hourly low, so 123.20, 123.17. So I'm going to write down 123.20. That is support today. So in other words, we need to break below 123.20 to take the downside pressure off of the dollar yen. Okay. Nick asked about why do I think the dollar Mexican peso is strong. Its stocks are weak. That's why. Okay. So the if you look at the U.S. dollar Mexican peso, it's very much in a relationship with equity markets. You look at, and if you're busy looking at if you're busy looking at like other emerging market currencies, go take a look at the South African rand. Things getting demolished right now. Okay, all right, which is an emerging market currency, but is also South American emerging market currency too. At that, so it might be more regional than anything. Dollar Canadian. Okay, so the dollar Canadian has pulled back, and we hit our flag pattern target and then some. What we did is we took out new highs. You can see how we took out brief new highs. Now we're coming down again. Now let's check something here. We hit the 786 to a T. Whoa, I didn't want to do that. Hold on, let me get rid of this. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. We'll get rid of that for now, and we will do this. So the 786, 133.22, really key resistance. And I mean, if you want to short the dollar Canadian with stops above there, I think that's that you don't have to worry about. I mean, that's your downside. So even if it gets to 133, you could probably be on the short side. Just keep your stops really tight. To me, it looks like the dollar Canadian might pull back a little bit further. Hold on really fast. I want to try something. So a 50% retracement to 31.77 would take us below these wicks here. 38% retracement takes us almost to this low. So this support right here probably will find this previous resistance. This will probably find some good support down here, right through here. Okay, you can see all the spikes through here, spike high, spike high, spike high. That's going to come in just below 132, so that 31.90. And the Canadian's pretty efficient at stopping out people. People get long at 132.25, stop them out below 132, then bounce. So I would say 131.90 is probably going to be some pretty good support. 131.90. Okay, resistance is obviously 133.20. That's key. Any which way you slice it. We are in a range environment right now. Okay, let's take a look at the Kiwi. So here's the Kiwi dollar. And what you'll notice in the Kiwi is we have 161% extension that held. Also, channel support. Now, if you guys are thinking, oh, Blake, is that a flag? It's way too extended to be a flag. It's not a flag anymore. What this could end up being, though, and this is something to think about, what this could end up being longer term, especially if we really hold down here, it's going to end up being like an inverted head and shoulder pattern long term. So just keep that in mind regarding the Kiwi. I don't think it will be, but technically it's possible right now. It's not, it's not impossible. Okay, but this previous support should hold us right here. You'll notice how it's already holding us this far. Okay, right there. But you got to give it a little bit more room. So I think a move up to 65.80 definitely possible. Okay, let's go over to the hourlies here. Excuse me. So from the high before non-farm payroll, post non-farm payroll, 618 comes in at 65.75. That's your resistance today. Support is at 65, obviously. Okay, so if we can get to 65.75, that'd be a great place to be on the short side. Let's take a real quick look at the Aussie. I'll do this one real fast. And we'll do the rest when we get back. All right, so here's the Aussie, and so, all right, let's get rid of these drawings from last week, because obviously the non-farm payroll put us outside of that. Okay. All right, so as far as the Aussie goes, so this wasn't drawn perfectly to start, right? So I had this, like drawn like that. Let's remove that for now. Okay. We hit the 786, obviously. Struggling with, getting any type of leg up here, but let's imagine we squeeze a little bit more, which is possible. If the euro continues to push higher, we might get up to 71 cents, but you can see why we're capped right now. Okay. I'd give it up to 71.10. Should be that spike low there, if we can get up there. But what we are doing right now is we're really flagging. This is at this point we're flagging like this. Shoot, I don't want that to happen. See, right now this is what's happening, and it looks bearish, but $71.15 is going to be resistance, but I think we can turn below that before that. Okay, and we are in a range, but 70 and a quarter. For some reason, we just blast through those lows, then you know there's a flag going on. Okay. All right. When I get back, we will continue on with the dollar index. We'll look at some of these emerging market currencies. We'll look at some of the Nordic currencies, and I'll continue on with your questions after that. So thanks everybody for writing in, and I'll get to those questions as soon as I can. Be back in a few moments. Don't go anywhere. All right, traders, this is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Morning Edge webinar. I want to welcome you all back. Let's go over to the dollar index. Actually, let's figure that out. All right, so here we are with the dollar index, and you know, we've had this little bit of a pullback, okay, which you know is to be expected. We had a really great run, obviously on Friday, nice spike up. Following the jobs report, and now we're just kind of consolidating. We're pulling back a little bit, and you know this looks technically like a flag pattern. What I can do right now is get rid of some of these drawing tools. I think I'm going to get rid of the fib for right now. Go back, and we might have to redraw that in a little bit. If you take this trend line, right, you take it all the way up here, you know, we can drift our way down towards it. I don't think that's out of the question. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I don't think it's out of the question. Okay, so currently, and I guess we'll have to go, you know, more intraday than anything. What we'll do is we'll take this low. Okay, we're going to take this low over here. Take the high. We have a 38% pullback of the dollar, comes all the way down to 98.73. So I'm going to write down 98.75 as being support right now. Okay, it's possible we make it down there. Just remember, the dollar is really strong. This is just it's a pullback in a really strong trend. So 98.75 going to be support. Okay. And because if we're flagging and we don't even make a 38% retracement, we flag and then start breaking again, then you know that's going to mean we're probably going to see above 100 here in the next day or two. So, and that wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, I think we're whoops here. Let's go over to the daily chart. I think we're on our way. It's just more of a matter of time now, and so what we'll do is we'll mark the highs from oops, Friday, which were 99.35 basically. All right, and this trend is bullish. Now let's take a look at the US dollar Mexican peso. I am long the peso right now from Friday, and I'm going to continue to stay long, I think, because the stock market's a little risk averse, and so that's helping obviously the US dollar Mexican peso. But you can see we finally broke that 38% retracement. I'm assuming we're going to find some resistance as we head towards the 618, obviously. So we have a spike here at 17, which is obviously going to give us some problems too. So we got 1695, but see, I don't know if it's really tradable right now. I mean, I guess if I didn't own the peso at the moment, which I do, but if I didn't, I'd try to buy a dip down to there. I wouldn't be buying it where we're currently at. I would wait for this, and then be a seller up here. But that comes in at 1670 and then 1695, so we'll do that. Support will be 16.7000 and resistance will be 16.9500. Okay, and we're actually in a range environment, but we're going back into the direction of the overall trend, which is higher. All right, let's go over to the. Let's take a look at the Nordic currencies. So, U.S. dollar, Norwegian krona. The move back above the 860 level was really stout. Actually, it was more saving the U.S. dollar, Norwegian krona last week than anything, because that could have been a very disastrous looking candle last week, but it was not. It ended up being totally fine, but it could have been a disastrous like false breakout. Okay, but it's not right now. I don't know if there's much to do with it though. I don't know if, just looking at it, and I don't have a position. I don't even know how I'd trade it right now. So if I don't know how I'd trade it, I'd probably just leave it alone. Because it looks like, these dips below, this right here, it doesn't even seem relevant at the moment. I mean, it might be, but I'd have to see more concrete evidence of this actually holding, because it hasn't held in the past. So anyway, I don't think there's much to do there. Let's take a look at the Swedish krona. So, God, this guy's loud. Hold on. Not only is he loud, he's got one of those voices like, wah, 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 wah. It's like, man, holy cow. Shush it. All right. So I don't know if there's a whole lot to do with the Swedish krona right now, but check that out. If you guys want to be a buyer right here, if you're like, okay, well, the dollar's pulled back enough, that might be it. But look what's capping us here. So this blue trend line comes across the tops, right? And that comes in right at 878. And basically, we knocked our head right up against it. So, I mean, unless you want to buy the Swedish krona right now and you want to play it on the long side right at this moment. But I don't know. Oh, this guy's calling the high in the dollar right now. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to leave the Swedish krona off there right now. All right, guys, here is your bias chart. And one thing I wanted to show you really fast. So I was talking about like